There is a deep, instinctual appeal to renting a remote cabin in the woods. Modern life is loud, and social anxiety is exhausting. The promise of absolute solitude offers a rare chance to reset. But this distance comes at a cost. When you drive hours away from the stress of civil society, you are also driving away from its protection. You leave behind the police, the emergency services, and the watchful eyes of neighbors. This is the sanctuary vacuum, an environment where the unspoken rules and protections of the social contract sever and fade, leaving the individual entirely on their own. Within this vacuum, the most significant threat usually has nothing to do with wildlife or the supernatural. The real danger lies in the unpredictable, irrational behavior of other human beings. Isolation creates a container. Any threat that manages to enter your perimeter is now trapped inside you. The first boundary is the social perimeter. We see this fail when a couple's quiet getaway is compromised because a friend brought a total stranger, a woman named Lucy, on the trip. Social norms fractured almost immediately. During a casual game of Uno, Lucy erupted into a screaming, irrational fit of rage, accusing people she barely knew of cheating. The awkwardness quickly shifted into a nighttime terror. Her boyfriend woke up to find Lucy standing at the foot of the bed, staring at him. Resting on the mattress beside her was a large knife. As the group hid in a locked bedroom, they could hear Lucy wandering the dark cabin, humming to herself. Suddenly, the front door slammed. They looked out the window to see Lucy walking alone into the freezing forest, wearing nothing but a t-shirt and shorts. The cabin's isolation amplified the fear, but it was the social breach that created the danger. A heavy door is useless against a threat you willingly invited inside. When traveling alone, safety rests entirely on the physical perimeter. For an introverted hiker in a secluded cabin, the only barrier between him and the dark woods was this heavy wooden door. At 11 o'clock at night, someone knocked. He turned on the porch light to find a man standing there. He wasn't a hiker. He was clean-shaven, athletic, and wearing a tailored business suit. The stranger claimed he was looking for his lost girlfriend, but his voice was flat and robotic. He lacked the panic or desperation of someone whose partner was missing in the freezing dark. When the hiker refused entry, the stranger dropped the act. He started laughing, pressed his face against the glass, and called the hiker by his first name. Before vanishing into the trees, the man in the suit systematically slashed the hiker's tires. In the wilderness, a locked door creates a false sense of security. It keeps the victim stationary and visible, while the external threat controls the surrounding space. The final boundary breach is the internal threat. After his father passed away, a man traveled to a remote family cabin to deep clean the property before putting it on the market. He spent hours scrubbing the downstairs rooms, unaware that his sense of control was an illusion. The air inside was saturated with a horrific stench of decay. Constant rustling echoed from the ceiling. In the back hallway, the attic latch hung open, with fresh food wrappers scattered near the base of the pull-down ladder. While sitting in the dark living room that night, he noticed a blanket draped near a chair, one that hadn't been there earlier. A boot protruded from the fabric. He watched as the blanket slowly rose and fell with the rhythm of someone breathing. He fled to his car and looked back to see a feral, unkempt man emerge onto the porch. Police later found that the squatter had been living in the attic for over a year. A sanctuary fails when you realize the threat had been residing inside the walls for months before you arrived. These three perimeters, social, physical, and internal, demonstrate the irony of the getaway. The desire for isolation becomes the weapon used against the victim. Seeking peace relies on the assumption the wilderness is empty. As chaotic elements swarm, solitude becomes a high-stakes gamble. To escape the world means sacrificing the protection of the world. By stepping away from the social contract, you become entirely dependent on the sanity of whoever happens to be sharing the dark with you. The next time you lock the door of a remote cabin to keep society out, ask yourself who you are actually locking yourself in with.